Hi, I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies, and today I want to talk about the Wiawias Recurve bow. Now, I've already done a review on this bow, but I've started shooting it, and I basically wanted to do an update of where I've got to from the time I started shooting it to where I am now. Now, I've been shooting it for probably around 3 months, and I was shooting the SF forged riser with normal foam limbs previously, with Medallion Carbon Express arrows, and previously I shot a score indoors of 270 out of 300, and I was shooting that, I was pretty comfortable with that. Now, I was shooting 32 pounds at 68 inches, and that sort of score would rate me in this state, in my state. Nationally, you want to get to the score of around 280, and Olympics, a score of about 290 out of 300. So at 270 with that bow at 32 pounds, I was pretty happy with that. So I thought, well, let's try pushing it with the Wiawias. So let's get it an expensive bow, expensive limbs. Let's up the poundage. And originally I upped it to a higher poundage limbs. I went for 42 and I found those way too heavy for me. I struggled with it. And then I've dropped them back to the 38 pounds. And I've been shooting this bow. Now I shoot it every day. I shoot a minimum of about 30 arrows a day, and I was pushing 60 arrows a day prior to the nationals, which were on the weekend. I've been doing strength training. I've been running to try and improve my lung capacity because I do have asthma, so I have a shorter breath. And if you go to what Olympic archers do, they do lots of running and fitness to try and improve their cardiovascular and reduce their heartbeat. There are archers I've known in the past who have been world champions who haven't been fit and they've shot very well, but they shoot a lot. And in fact, all the top archers shoot a lot. So originally when I swapped this bow from the cheaper Win and Win SF forged riser, my scores dropped. So my scores dropped from 270 to about 250. Now, a lot of that could be attributed to the strength. I was struggling with the poundage and I was shaking more. I had all sorts of problems with arrow spines, going from an 800 spined arrow with the 32 pound and then going to and choosing another arrow with this bow. So I actually chose, I tried some 600s, I tried some 700s, and I've tried a few different ones since then. So I was shooting McKinney's, which are a very, very light, fast carbon arrow, and I was having success with those. But I did a review on these arrows from Win and Win, which just came out. These are called the Tornado, and hopefully that will zoom up. And these are a 700 spined arrow, and I'm shooting with them the impulse vanes. And I did try with, you can see the curve on it. And I did try some AA waves. I've tried the spin wings, and I do like the spin wings, but they are prone more to maintenance, and I am limited on time. So when I've got an hour to practice, I tend to prefer to practice than to fix arrows. So these are the impulse. I found them really hardy. I have shot the 4-inch and the 3-inch versions. I'd made these ones up with 3-inch version. The reason I chose these arrows is basically I did a review where I was comparing arrows and I found these really, really affordable. So I thought, let's try them, let's see. They're about, I'm going to say, half the price, maybe even a third of the price of McKinney. So made up, you're probably in the vicinity of about $200 a dozen. Now they are heavier, so at 18 meters, these arrows dropped about that much. But at 70 meters, which is what you shoot for competition with a recurve, they'll obviously drop a lot more. So if I was going to go outdoors, I'd probably be more inclined to shoot the McKinney. But for indoor shooting, I was more than happy to try these out. And I shot basically the same scores with these that I did with the McKinneys. And I'm shooting McKinney pin knocks on the back end, which are quite a cheap knock, and I found them perfectly good. I had no issues, and I've had no vanes fall off. I've had no issues at all with these vanes. I did have fletch clearance issues originally, and I have changed my arrow rest on the bow, so now I'm shooting an SF Elite arrow rest, which I'm just going to zoom in on just here. I'm shooting Win and Win clicker button. I've now fitted in the last week one of these things. I'll zoom up to it. This is called, it's a little pin sight from Decut. Now, Titan also makes something similar, and the Titan one's probably better. I'm going to say it is better than this. And it's a little bit higher quality. But for me, this pin sight costs around $30. The Titan one, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm sorry, Lee, if you're watching this, is about $70. Now, for me, I wasn't a good enough archer to go, I can justify $70, even though I spent so much money on this gear, right? So for me, I just wanted to try it out and see if it made me aim better, because I was aiming at 18 meters with a normal pin and it was covering up the whole target, and basically I couldn't aim in the center. Or I felt like I couldn't aim in the center, even though I was shooting reasonable scores. So I fitted this to my bow, which is, like I said, about $25. And this is what it looks like. Hopefully I can zoom in. Now, the lens is replaceable. Now, I find the fibre optic hard to see indoors, and it was really good on the Nationals. But I found the aim really, really good. And basically, as soon as I put it on, my scores did improve. So that's about all I've done. Oh, the other thing I've done to my string, I was talking to Win and Win, because I wanted a colour matching string to match my red and black theme. And I spoke to Win and Win. I said, what should I make my string out of? Now, there's a few materials for recurve strings. There's Dacron, which is the slowest, and it's used on beginner bows. There's Fast Flight, and there's BCY. Now, what Win and Win told me was BCY is very popular in Europe because it's a little bit quicker, but in Korea, they prefer Fast Flight strings because they find them more forgiving. So, and she said, it's pretty much up to you what you go for. I was shooting a BCY string, and I've now gone to Fast Flight, which I made up, I think, last week. And basically, as soon as I put on my bow, I shot my best score. So the score I shot was 275 points out of 300. Now I need 280 to get a medal in the Nationals, so to be top 3. And someone's going to say, no, you need 282. Yes, okay, I need 282. But ballpark numbers are 280 you need out of 300 to be good nationally. In this state, in my state, 270 basically makes you pretty compatible. The best female archer in this state shot 285, which is very, very good, and that was the winning score among females, and I would have rated her, I think, 4th in Australia in men, the score she shot in the Nationals on the weekend. So I fitted the Fast Flight string, my scores improved, but what happened was I found I was in here practicing every night, and I was practicing till 11 o'clock many nights, trying to shoot all my arrows in the gold. And what I found was I was just letting one arrow go. I was fatiguing, I was still shaking. But when I fitted this, for some reason, I'm not going to blame the string or say it's the thing, I was doing lots of weights and I became stronger. Suddenly I started shooting really, really well. And I was shooting in my shooting range here, and I put 8 arrows out of 9 in the 10, and the other one was in the 9, really tight groups, as good as I shoot with the compound. It's not saying I shoot bad with the compound, but really, really good groups, as good as I've seen anyone shoot with a recurve ever. So I entered the recurve tournament on the weekend, the Nationals, and I shot 272, 266, 270, which got me second in the state by 8 points. So I was really, really close. Nationally, it gave me top 14. But with the recurve, it's lots and lots of work. You know, I cannot stress how much work it is compared to the compound. So for me, I've just got to shoot more arrows and work away at the recurve. So the points from this video, I really like this this sight, and given my recent success, I think the Titan scope's probably better. So if you're looking at sight pins, the Decut is cheaper, but the Titan one's probably better. So $70 versus $75 or $80 versus $25. I do like the fast flight string, but if I was shooting outdoors, and I do want to do a video where I compare the speeds of the fast flight string versus the BCY string, because I'm sure the BCY will be faster, no doubt at all. The fast flight is much, much quieter. There's no question mark on sound of the bow. The bow just basically makes no noise with the fast flight string. The fast flight does have stretch. But my scores are up overall, but it's a lot of hard work and shooting a lot. And basically the top archers in the world do shoot a lot of arrows every day, 200-300 arrows a day. So that's the Wiawias. That's been my progression in 3 months from the SF Forge. So if you're not going to shoot all the time and you're not going to push yourself, you really don't need this bow, but it is nice to shoot, and I do like shooting it, and it looks pretty with all matching Wiawias stabilizers, so it does encourage me to shoot the bow. And it comes in a whole bunch of pretty colors, the whites, it comes in flag colors now with matching stabilizers. But if it encourages you to shoot the bow and you are likely to shoot every day, then I have no issue about someone spending money on their equipment if they're going to use it. But if you're going to shoot once a week at the club, the SF Forged riser with foam limbs is going to be fine for you. These arrows from Win and Win, the Tornado or the A-Trax, which is even cheaper, is going to be fine for you also, and you're going to shoot decent scores with them. There's no question you don't need to spend $500 for arrows or $700 for arrows, because it's just not going to give you that much of an advantage. Like I said, the McKees probably will for the longer distance, 70 metres, and when I make it back to 70 metres, I will probably shoot both and just test that theory out. So I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies. That's my little take on where I've progressed in 3 months with the Win and Win. I am still shooting compound. The last point I want to make on my progression with this recurve is the pain. I am under massive amounts of pain in my back through shooting, through muscle development, getting knots in my back. So when I shot on the weekend in the Nationals, I had, between my shoulder blades, I had all knots, and the pain was fairly intense, like almost to the stage where I'm crying. But I had to shoot this Nationals, and I had a massive massage last night to try and get the knots out, which really hurt. But the amount of work required to be good is almost unseen. And I'm really appreciative of I'm going to say the kids and the archers who do it, because it's a lot of work, and I do acknowledge the amount of work they put in to be good at the Olympic level, the national level, or the state level, because it's hard work. And that's why if you're going to put the hard work in, I have no questions about buying the top of the line product, like the Win and Win Wiawis. And just a plug on the Win and Win Wiawis, the girl in my state, Claire, she shot the highest score of any female archer in Australia with a Wiawis, sponsored by Win and Win. So Win and Win's doing really, really good things with their bows. That's about it. So enjoy your archery. I'm really enjoying shooting recurve. The other point is I've added more weights to my Wiawias stabilizers, and the reason for that is to create a bit more stability and a bit more balance in the bow. But still, it gets back to the archer shooting more, improving your technique, and improving your strength. So I'm hoping to build up my strength even further. I've spoken to people on a world stage. The men are generally shooting 50 pounds, and I'm at 38, so I've still got a fair bit of muscle work to do. I've still got a lot more cardio work to do, and I've got a lot more training to do to actually push my position beyond where I'm at the moment. And obviously I've got to do a lot more shooting outdoors and a lot more practice indoors. So that's where I'm at to in 3 months of the Wiawias. I do love the bow, love Win and Win, the products are great. The stabilizers I find do come loose here. I do have to tighten them up, but I do like the Wiawias stabilizers. They look great, they shoot great. Sight's fantastic, hasn't come loose. So overall I really like the products. So I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery. Thank you. Bye.